Hello everyone, Sherlock from Techmaster Academy. Welcome again to another episode of our how-to series where we take 5 to 10 minutes every time to answer a question of how we can play a trick, do something out of the ordinary on WordPress, or basically just to find the right tool for the inquiries that you have on your business. Now, today we're actually going to do the second option. We're going to introduce a tool that some of you know, some may not really know. So a lot of people are spending money to get the features that this tool allows you to use for free. Now, let's take a look at that. What we are trying to do is to basically create a sign-up form or a contact form that also allows us not just to collect people's information, but also collect payments from them, or even sell subscription or sell registration to our website to them. Normally what people do is to use a lot of, there are form builders that do this, but they're usually a paid option. Good example would be WP Forms. It's one of my favorite plugins, but if you want the full-on experience, you'll need to buy the pro version. There's Contact Form 7, which is a very good contact form, and it's because it's very basic, it's bare bones. So if you know some CSS and everything else, you can make it work, do some magic for you. But what we are going to talk about today is a rather new plugin called Forminator. Forminator allows you to create contact forms, sign-up sheets, quizzes, polls, so on and so forth. So basically, the amount of work they've put into this is just amazing. And one of the main things that made it very interesting to me personally was this, Stripe or PayPal integration. And when I installed it the first time, I could not believe the amount of, the dynamic work that it allows you to do. And that's only for the free version. If you go for the full-on pro version, just like, you have to take a look at this. So I do recommend you first come here, go on Google, search Forminator, take a look at it on WordPress plugin page, read the description, watch the videos. They have done an amazing work. So what we are trying to do is to create a very easy to play with sign-up sheet, which also accepts payments. So let's take a look at that. Now for that, I need to first install the plugin. So go to your WordPress dashboard, go to plugins and click add new. Very good. Go ahead and search Forminator. Install now. And activate. Once activated, you will see Forminator right down here on your dashboard. Let's go to a Forminator dashboard. So the dashboard will show you a list of forms, quizzes, polls, or any other element that you have created. You will have a list of them here. You'll be able to take shortcodes out of them, like here's a test form. If you need a copy shortcode, so basically these are basic things are all available on the dashboard. So, but we are going to create a new form. So we can either go from here, or I'm just going to go to forms to create. For now, I'm going to go for let's go blank actually. And let's call it sign up pay. And create. This is where you start building your form. So what we need to do is start inserting fields. Now the fields that you can select from are actually quite interesting. So obviously I'm going to go with a name field. I'm just going to select their full name. Not necessary to go first name, last name, but you can do that as well. I'm going to collect their email. I would like to have their address. And I would like to know which one of our packages they are more interested in. So I want to give them a sort of a drop-down menu to select from. And once they've done that, I would like to collect some payment from them. Click insert field, and let's go. First, the name field. This is where you can decide if you want a single field or multiple. Depending on the CRM that you're using, you may want to avoid the multiple option. What I usually do, just to make sure it's always working for me, I insert two different name fields, both single, but one of them I label first name, the other one I label last name. And when it comes to integrating with the CRM, you can select which field corresponds to which one in your CRM system. You can obviously edit the placeholder. Let's change John Doe to John Smith, for example. You can make this a required or optional field. And if you go very quickly through this, there are a lot of different options that you have to modify it, and finally click apply. Same with email address. I'm going to make this a required field as well. And I can select to actually for the email to be verified before I accept it or not. So I'm going to leave this as is for now. For address, again, I would like to collect their address. I don't care about their apartment or suite number, so I'm going to turn that off. I do care about city, state, zip code, and country, absolutely. And settings for each one. For address, yes, required. City is required. State is required, so on and so forth. And my default country is required, so that's why we don't have that option here. I'm going to click apply. Now I want to create those options. I said that I wanted them to select, for example, which one of our products attracted you. And I'm going to add, well, the first one, let's say chocolate. I'm not really even sure what we're selling here, but anyway, pastries, and I think that's pretty much enough, but if you feel like you can add another one, candies, for instance, and apply. And finally, your debit or credit. Now, for this, I will do another video on this where you can actually get the API keys from Stripe. That would not fit in this video, but basically what you're required to do, you can go through the settings here. You need to connect your either Stripe or PayPal service here. So you need to get your, for instance, from Stripe, you need to get your publishable key and secret key, both live and test one, and then go ahead and add it here. As you can see, if I click this, I will need to provide that sort of information. We'll have another video on that as well. For PayPal, it would be slightly simpler. You can, but still pretty much the same process. You need to insert those IDs and API keys here for the systems to work. But once that is done, you actually can go live. I can select a certain amount that I want to charge. For instance, for example, for this membership that I'm selling here, or whatever that I'm selling here, I'm going to be charging $25 US, or it can be variable, so they can select how much they want it to be. For example, there you go. So you need to actually, for the variable one, you need to go to the settings first on Informulator to set that up. But regardless, usually there is a flat fee that everybody wants to charge for that product or that subscription, whatever it is, you can charge that here. On the other video that we'll be making about Stripe, I will teach you how you can actually set Stripe to accept this information and make this a recurring payment as in a subscription. So make sure you watch that video as well. But for now, unfortunately, we cannot set this up because we don't have the API keys that we need. So I'm going to remove the debit or credit option here. I'm going to set my button here, the submit button, and I can click publish. Once you publish this, Formulator will give you a short code which you can copy and simply place on your page. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's go to our page here. I'm going to enable Divi Builder. We have another video on how to use Divi to create landing pages and sales pages. That is coming up soon. Make sure you watch that, especially if you're a business owner who's making money online. That is something that should naturally interest you. Now, what I need to do is basically add an element here. Now, in this case, let's add it here. I'm going to add a code element. I'm going to drop that code here. And what happens is, because we created the form elsewhere, as you can see, now I have the chance to go ahead and modify and edit and give it a separate background or whatever design that I want to give it. Now still, the fonts and everything else are possible to be modified through Formulator itself. So you can go ahead and take a look at that. Also, there are behavior options that you have. So what sort of emails that you want to send out, I will show you that in a second. But basically, this is what a Formulator can do. Now, if we had the payment option, the integration done, then we would have a credit card field here where people could insert a credit card information and you could collect your payment. But right now, if I, as you can see, there's name field that we selected and it's required. There's email address, street address, city, state and province, zip code, country, and also which one of our products attracted you, the 3 options that we selected, and then our submit button. There we go. Now, to answer the final question, are there other settings that make Formulator special? Absolutely. Take a look at this. When you go to your form, you have the option to, number 1, choose how you want it to look. Now, right now we have it on this default mode. You can put flat mode, you can put bold, even you have this, the material one actually makes it quite delicate and beautiful on the pages. So this would be something I would be interested to use. So I'm going to keep it like that. The colors, you can use the default colors, which is this blue and the same colors, but you can also go on custom, and for every element you can select what color you want to use. And also, so I'm going to leave it here, fonts, you have the chance to go ahead and change the font for each one, for the drop down, for the submit button, so on and so forth. And I personally do not use padding or borders here because I'm using Divi. Divi is quite handy with setting the gaps and everything else. I'm going to do it over there, but you have even the option to add some custom CSS if you want to have a certain design behind the fields or so on and so forth. Then this is what you need to basically use. The best part of it, in my opinion, is the behavior that allows you to select what happens after submission, whether they just see this message or they see the message and the message disappears. You can leave this on or off, or they see the message briefly and then they're redirected to a certain URL which you can insert here, or basically just show this and then hide form. So there are a lot of options here that you're given. And also for more technical side, Formulator does allow you to load your pages and forms over Ajax, which actually helps quite a lot with the performance of the page. So I do recommend to play around with that, but make sure that you test your payments and integrations. So basically test your form, make sure it works before you put it out there for people to opt in. And finally, the email notifications, you can select to send notifications, different kinds of notifications to people. By default, there is a notification set to the admin, in which case it's me. But you can also add, let's say, if you are selling a membership this way, which we are doing, for instance, on Tech Master Academy itself, and I will show you that in a second, then you actually have the option to, let's go here, one of our packages. You will see a form that is created with Formulator with payment option. That's a very good example I can show you. There you go. So you see that there's credit card number and so on and so forth. I have drop-down menus for our affiliates and other sort of information. And make sure that you test this before you put your form out there for people to see. And also right now, when people sign up here, they get another notification. They get a notification from Formulator saying that now you're a member and this is your login information and so on and so forth. So guys, this is all I could tell you today about Formulator. I do recommend you to use this free. You don't need to pay for it. It's pretty much the most complete package that is out there right now. Take a look at that. Make sure you do not miss our video on creating sales funnels altogether, but sales pages, landing pages in less than 10 minutes. See you next time.